Welcome to the Phantom's Lair. We are only days away from footy. I know it's weird, I'm doing the intro, but the Phantom is not speaking. He's taken a vow of silence. Dossie, to my left, good to see you back, the Chief. What is going on here with Phantom?
Well, the Phantom's decided he won't speak, at least for the intro, because he's got a sign. If you aren't watching on Code Sports YouTube channel, Phantom is holding up a sign saying, "Free Will Brodie."
He didn't listen to me. I said throughout the preseason, Will Brodie is going to burn you. He's not going to play round one. Phantom was absolutely adamant that I was wrong.
Yep.
But I was right.
Emergency for the AAMI Series game. We are going to go through all the practice game, all the AAMI Series scores and notes.
Actually, I'm not even saying emergency. He didn't even go to Perth. He played in the Sandful on Saturday.
So it was just a token emergency.
Emergency.
He's never going to play.
I haven't given up hope.
Because
we've seen this in the preseason before. He could still be a chance in round one. Jack Watkins ain't it. Will Lorenz, come on, Sim. What have you told Josh Carr down there?
Will Brodie Nuffy alarm.
Will Brodie, yeah. I said to Josh Carr, mate, can you just help me out, please? I need one up on the Phantom here.
No, the one thing that gets me is the bit of a chirp from the Victorians over there at the Herald Sun. Dan Batten now, Peyton, not just rejoicing in the fact that Will Brodie didn't play on the weekend. But I haven't given up hope. We've seen it happen before, the Chief.
Yep. What we need to take note of is that practice matches are practice matches for a reason. And
you need to take note because
you leave your Rolls Royces on the sidelines, fan.
Yeah,
Nick Dacos.
Nick Dacos, Will Brodie, the Rolls Royces of the league.
Exactly. Well, we are going to go through every game, Phantom, and just some names of note from each game. But we do obviously note off the top to take a grain of salt with this. We'll get into that more in a second. But first, if you haven't made a team, get in now. Opening round won't count. We get to watch opening round this weekend, though. It doesn't count for SuperCoach, but it does count for the price changes and also sort of our final tinkering. We get to see these guys in proper action and maybe make a few changes. But we will be doing a huge podcast next week, wrapping up everything from opening round. But heading into it, did you guys firstly make any changes over the weekend? We said take things with a grain of salt, but I certainly made at least, I want to say, 3 changes.
I thought you made 30.
Well, I might have slightly.
I can't even scroll back through the group chat because it's going to take me too long to even get to Saturday.
I went a bit dossy on the weekend, I reckon. I went a bit of the Chief.
Full dossy.
My midfield's the same. My rucks are the same. A confirmation of the best starting ruck setup of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Get to it shortly.
Okay.
Forwards, a little bit of change. Few rookies as well, which was always going to happen. We're always going to, when we see these guys come out, we see some numbers. The rookie situation was going to change, but some good news in the rookie situation, some really good news, which we'll get to.
Yeah, I've brought in Caleb Windsor. Found him, and somehow Tanner Bruins found his way in my squad. This should be a very reactionary thing to watching that. So, but apart from that, not too many wholesale changes, just some roots, tinkering around that.
Yes, let's go on the real Dossie. The AAMI Series hype team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, Phantom, if you have made a team, jump into the Lair League 128532, and we are so close to getting to our 5,000 target. Well, I checked on the weekend; it was like over 4.5 or close to 4,500. So yeah, you're going to have to do a punishment real soon. If we do hit 5,000. And we're going to get there easily before round one.
Yeah, we almost got to do sign up.
Phantom's got to do some sort of punishment. Also, we're going for 23,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I think we're at 22.5 on that front too. So that was for what was that for? Was that for another? That was for a sim punishment?
Yeah, gather round catch up.
Oh, that's for gather round.
Yeah.
Sims card.
You've already done.
Yeah.
You've already passed.
No, my card's behind the bar, apparently.
Yeah, well, no one found us in Melbourne last week as well. Sim had the card out.
Well, old Dossie was too busy working the whole time too, by the way. Covering Phantom on the draft.
Money left.
Covering Phantom on the draft podcast if you didn't catch that. And the other thing is just leave some ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple as well. We'd love to see your feedback over there. But let's get into our recap. And there's so much to get through. So again, off the top though, I just wanted to make a note. We need a warning here. We need to have a warning right off the top.
Enough warning?
Enough warning? No. We need a warning, Fan, because this is the grain of salt warning.
Bloody tsunami alert.
We need a grain of salt warning on everything here because it's easy to forget. Obviously, the smallest sample possible. Some teams get to play West Coast in these trials. Others get to play Richmond. Some get to play the tougher ones. Bunch of star names missing. Coaches are trying everything. We've got managed minutes. Time on ground is low for some of these players. So just keep everything in perspective in these scores. But obviously, we're just looking for those major roles and some people that catch our eye. Past the eye test, I think, is the most important thing. So like last year, I looked at some big scores that caught our attention that didn't really end up paying off. Clary went 134 in the AAMI Series last year. Harry Perryman, 122.
He sucked everyone
That
in.
hurt. Tim Kelly, 117. Nobody jumped on that, but 117 from Tim Kelly. Elijah Sada scored a 90.
Oh, no, not that one.
Remember that as well. Matt Flynn, a 98, which was sort of a very slow burn on that front. A guy that maybe is catching my attention this preseason, though, is Finn O'Sullivan last year, scored a 99. That was far more of a slow burn than we anticipated after seeing that. And then poor old Bo Allen. I just had to know. Poor old Bo Allen last year, -12.
That's about what it just
in the AAMI Series.
just below what he averaged.
But on the positive side, there was a Shees 170, a Rosie 160, a McRae 117, a Finn Callahan 116, a Sam Darcy 110. So there is some scores out of these games where we can see they check
That
the eye
carry
test and they score well that did carry through, but everything with a grain of salt. Let's start with the first game. Seems like an age ago now.
Oh,
Wednesday.
we're still in Melbourne, weren't we?
Wednesday last week, Carlton versus Geelong. The biggest rookie lock in Supercoach history.
Wade Dirksen. 99K. We've got a few 99Ks. 4 intercepts in the first quarter. Recently signed SSP signing from the Blues. Playing defence. No Jacob Wiedering, we know.
Yeah.
Come on, fam.
99K on
that's
your
good.
defensive
Yeah,
bench. That's who you're talking about, right?
Nah. We're talking about the, what's the Baby Butters, I think.
Baby Butters.
I think that's what,
Jagger.
that's what John Ralph, friend of the show.
Look, we don't need to waste time on Baby Butters.
I'm more of a Liam Baker and Bo Allen guy myself, but
Has Liam Baker picked up the ball yet?
Oh, boy.
Has he picked up the ball yet on the wing?
All right, we don't need to.
no, we don't need, you just lock him in.
Daddy lock him in.
Please lock him in. 37
on
touches.
the field as well. Just have him on the
Definitely
field.
on the field.
Yep. Sammy Walsh, though, was one that
good.
caught the eye for many as well. Obviously, we get to see opening round for these guys, so we
29
can talk
touches.
about this again next week. But positive signs, and if he scores a 110, 120 next week, you'd have to strongly consider Walsh, given his scoring history and pedigree of scoring.
It's also underpriced. Like he's very much underpriced. That might help you out some way. I think
133 and 66% game time.
I think the thing is that
68.
really sucks. It's just that early buy. Like he'd probably be a lot. If he didn't have that early buy, I reckon he'd be close to being a lot.
A player that's ruled out for many coaches had this player in the early team picker stage of building. I remember him being a popular player, but Nick Newman, now out, got suspended playing in the VFL practice match. So if you had him in your plans, just rule him out for now. Also, was coming back slowly from that injury, a bit slower than people also were expecting. So maybe an upgrade or downgrade option depending on which way you go through the season, but he's not going to start the season anyway.
One you missed out there, name you missed out there, Cooper Lord.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His numbers were good. It's on eye test was really good as well.
It's an awkward price.
Mid-only awkward price.
324K.
Around the same price as it's like the Parish Reed you pay a little bit more for. Tanner Bruin, who was in this game as well, we'll speak about in a second. You're paying a bit less for him.
Yeah.
He's probably like the 4th or 5th banana if that role maintains in the season, which it still also may not hold. I love him though. I mean, until Chera sort of is coming back at some point, so that may hurt his role eventually. But I love him in draft. I think he's more of a draft option.
Yeah,
tackle as well. Does tackle. So even if he's not winning the footy, when was the last time Adam Chera led a tackle? I'm not sure. But Tanner Bruin, SimC's brought him in.
Yeah.
27 touches finished with. I think he had 10 sort of before quarter time. Playing across halfback. We saw Dan Batten.
Old D-Bats.
On Wednesday night after the game. He was excited.
Yeah, Dan Batten, Geelong advertiser, Code Sports journalist, killing it over there. Rising star. award winner.
Oh, yeah. And he let us know for sure. Don't worry about that. He was carrying the trophy with him as well.
But he's been singing his praises long before he's sort of come into the spotlight. I think Tanner Bruhn was about 4% owned when Dan was saying he's waxing off half back, he's playing in the midfield, he's sort of all over the place, but he is getting a lot of pill in their intra-club sort of trials behind closed doors, all that sort of stuff. Where are you sitting on him? 5 names?
Yeah, he's in. At the moment, I think it's a way of like just freeing up some cash. I went down from Harvey Langford, who might speak about later, to him, just free up some cash. Yeah, we want, that half-back role, get loads of cheap ball there, good for you. It's kind of what you want. And especially early on, like this is the time where it is quite, it does go quite nicely.
Did feature in the midfield as well in the second half. That's what he was drafted at. We know he's a guy that can, really quick feet, can get in and out of traffic, which is what he did on Wednesday night when pushed up the ground. So it's a good price. Definitely money to be made there.
What are your thoughts?
The thing is with him, at least, and these Carlton guys, like both of these teams, we get to see opening round and decide.
Yeah.
For Tanner, though, what are you going to need again next week or this week when we're watching opening round? Are you looking at the score more so or the role? For him, it's probably a combo. I need a high score from him.
I think you can, if he doesn't score, like, just say if he gets a 70, 80, like, it's going to be up goal toast. It's going to be a slippery ball. So that's the little caveat if he doesn't score too well. If the role's there, I reckon you could be pretty confident.
Where's he fit into
preferring half back though, aren't we?
Yeah, we want a half back.
We want the half back.
Oh, no, I want half back. Yeah. No, I want half back.
Where's he fit in to your current? Where'd you put him on your field? Where'd you put him?
He's like, let me think. Let me have
so I've gone, it's probably about the reshuffling. I've got my same midfield. Bont, Butters, Callaghan, Ashcroft. Hayden Young, Harley Reid, Dyson Sharp, Jagger Smith. That's my on-field midfield. That's what it was last week. That's what it is still right now. Could Bruhn go into flex? What does it mean dropping a premium there and picking a premium somewhere else?
I've got Bruhn at my M7. So I've only got one rookie.
Jeez.
I think so I can, other guys like, mid-price or primos everywhere.
Okay.
All right, I'm probably leaning towards not factoring him into my plans pending opening round scores, but any other names to touch on there? Mitch Edwards, do we still have any interest in him?
He's still on my rock bench somehow.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's going to go. He's going to play.
If he plays, I reckon, it's just if you've got your McAndrew at R2 or flex,
that's the problem for me, though.
Just have him on the bench.
That's the problem for me, though. If you don't have, even if it's a throwaway position of like a Reedy, if you're running McAndrew at R2 and things go wrong and you got Edwards there and say he only lasts a game or two and gets dropped, what is your way out?
Well, he wasn't super convincing either. Good point.
Yeah, I think I'd rather like a bit of flexibility in that spot. Again, we can watch opening round. Let's move on to the next game. Sydney GWS on the Thursday. Names of interest. I think I'll start with Sydney. Just Errol was played about 5 minutes and then rolled an ankle, but that's not an issue.
He's going to be okay.
He's going to be fine. So I think, if anything, maybe some people jump off scared of that and you can stick around. I'm still very keen on Errol Goulden.
Same.
Jai Sarong, a rookie option?
Not in my team. But we'll pushed up, played higher on a wing against the Giants. What did he score in the end? 79 Supercoach points, 18 touches. The former Hawthorn listed player who we know dominating defence in the VFL last couple of seasons. So looks like he might be in. Another bench. There's a few bench defender options though, which we'll go through here.
Could you roll him on your field though?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll see the opening round as well.
Defense rookies are looking good all of a sudden.
But the big talking point out of this game, we were flying back from Melbourne, lands in Adelaide. I think we're talking about okay, how we're going to get home, who get your bags and everything. Three of us stood up. First thing we said to each other was, Toby Green's playing the midfield. It's happening. Saw the score
Dossie's
on the phone. Dossie was asleep.
Yeah. I was asleep, yep.
Dossie's got to go back through that pod where I said he had a unique name.
26 touches, 12 contested possessions.
101 Supercoach points. Yeah, I mean, the role was what you were speaking about. Could the lack of midfield
Who have they got there?
depth now that they've
441K.
lost a Tom Green in there.
I think this is a bit.
They're wanting to compete, aren't they? And they can't rely on the young guys too much if you're wanting to go for it.
This to be one of the big watches.
Yes, definitely. I mean, he could still play full midfield opening round, but then in round 3 could match ups or something. Even if no one's back, he could easily spend first half in the forward line. But
it's so good.
The forward line pool we know isn't great. So does he need to even play full midfield to be considered?
Even how good Toby Green is, probably not. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the G-Dubs were missing a lot of players in this game, and they will miss a fair few of those players continuing into the season, as we said. But he's certainly a watch now for opening round. I don't know if I'd be going there.
Clary, you were keen on Clary. 83 Supercoach points, enough. 19.
Again, I think with
touches.
him, I'm not looking at score. I'm looking at role, and I'm very happy I get to see him in opening round because I would not be going in blind on Clary. But yeah, I'm not at the moment. He's not in my plans. But if he was to go nuts, I'd certainly consider it. Given, as we've said, they're struggling for their midfield depth. It's probably going to be Callaghan when he's back, Oliver, and a mixture of whoever else. If it's a Toby, if it's a Rouston, maybe. These sorts of guys.
Here were the top 5 CBAs for the Giants from that game. 20, Toby Green, number 1 player. Stephen Cornelio, 18. Clayton Oliver, 17. Harry Rouston, 15.
Yeah, Rouston's 78, scored a 78. So I just don't think he's a big scorer. I think I've said this a few times. I think you're much better going for a Tanner Bruin even, and anyone around that sort of price range outside of him. I don't think he's an option.
We did miss out on a Sydney player a couple of Sydney players who looked very good actually.
Plenty, yep.
Just wondering about Brodie Grundy.
Yeah.
Like we were all scared about the rush rules. We were like, and geez, that was a big old score for Brodie.
Vance had him R1 for a while, 5 names.
Yes, probably the chief.
Sorry, muscles. Confirmation.
I think he scored 115 in half a game, basically. It's basically what we saw last year. I mean, he was up against the backup, their backup ruck and the 21-year-old Nick Madden, but he's got that form from the end of last year, and he's a guy that's already showing some tricks. We saw him do a fake out in the ruck. He's the sort of smart player that's going to adjust to this quickly. And I know we've been down on Sherry, but with Grundy, he just does so much work around the ground as a possession winner outside of that, and that's probably the difference between him and Sherry. Sherry relies a lot on contest and tackles, which the AFL is clearly trying to move away from, whereas Grundy does the work around the ground, just like another ruckman that we'll speak about a little bit later that didn't happen to make Phantom's top 6. But was there any other players here that we want to talk about?
Charlie Curnow?
Yeah, good one. Yep.
I think he's interesting.
Not just what we've seen over the preseason as a whole. Looking very good. We know the forward pool is shallow. I've picked up in a couple of drafts I've done as well. He could surprise. He's definitely in the top 8 mix, especially if they improve as a team as well. And he's kicking bags.
He's a guy that's hurt me too many times in the past that I even touch or go near him at that price. Let's move on to the next game, Brisbane versus Gold Coast. Now, if you've got any players you want us to touch on more, let us know in the comments on YouTube. We'll get to as many as we can and touch on them in case we do miss. There's a plethora of names to talk about. Apologies if we do miss any, but Brisbane, Kitty Coleman's probably been the biggest name over there, Phantom. Thoughts on Kitty still at the moment?
Back in defence, where we want him. 14 touches, only 58 Supercoach points, but I mean, just the fact that he's got through a whole preseason now in the plans, we know how he can score at his best. So, still in for mine.
Still in for you? Is he in your team?
No. I reckon, I mean, opening round, if he comes down and goes berserk in opening round, then that'll obviously change. But yeah, I don't know, there's some, maybe I'm just getting pulled in by Caleb Windsor's game, but yeah, there's some other options for mine.
233K.
Yeah, but what's he, if he's going to score 58 every week, he probably won't, but yeah, there's a bit more.
All right. couple of big scores. Is Chalky Neal coming? Big lock. Little lock coming back for a monster year this year after the off-season turmoil caused by himself. But 125 SuperCoach points. The lock.
18 contested, no other line.
I think we just can't, especially if you're the Premiers, you're not really going to be coming. You're just going to be trying things in these sorts of games. One that stood out, though, for me, Levi Ashcroft, 96. Outscoring his bro. Just as the preseason predictions.
You can call me Mystic Mike.
No, I'm happy with that.
Predict these
Will,
things.
that's just what we were perfect. I called Will before the game and said, mate, just take it easy. Everyone's going to jump on.
Yep.
So just a casual 56 and 58% game time.
On the Gold Coast side of things, though, Fan, we know you've been a big fan of this rookie option for us and you've been singing his praises throughout the preseason. But Zeke Hewland, where are we sitting on him? Because a lot of coaches are jumping off. He's 199K. He's sort of playing that bit of wing role. Tough to score again. It's tough to score in and tough to learn to play that at AFL level. We obviously know he missed a whole chunk of last year with an injury. Came back at the end of his rookie campaign and played a little bit, but not a heap. Is Zeke looking like still an option for us? I mean, at the moment, I've penciled him in my squad. I'm just wondering, you're the Zeke expert here.
Well, he's still in my team. He is expensive. 5 names mentioned before. There are some multiple options now at the basement price, which changes the conversation a little bit. I've kept him in. 14 touches, a bit sloppy. A couple of free kicks against. 4 clangers in total. But I just think can't expect these rookie kids to come out and do it straight away and pick them or don't pick them based on their preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's going to be in the plans enough. We spoke last week on the show about talk that he might be behind a few. Looks like he potentially will start in opening round. We get to see him still on field at this point. It's just whether you save 80K and start a Jaisa wrong or the like on field. I'm just not sure still if you can trust his scoring enough. I think when Zeke gets going, he will be able to.
Thankfully, we do. Like you said, we get to look at him at least and make that decision. And a few other cheap options are emerging in defence for us as well. So there's fallback options. And if you sort of have him in your structure at 199K, you can pivot out from that. But yeah, he scored 41 SuperCoach points for anyone interested. And one thing that I did note looking back at last year's scoring is that we panicked a little bit seeing some of these 40s and 50s last year when we probably shouldn't have. Like, we know their junior pedigree. We know the role. I know there was players like Xavier Lindsay and a Harvey Langford. These type of guys didn't score great in the practice matches. They ended up being like really solid rookies. And there was other examples as well. But
And it was playing in a pool up there.
Yeah.
Torrential rain.
Yep. Now, Leo Lombard, 78 SuperCoach points. I don't want to talk about if he's an option because I think he's a lock if he's named. But is he an on-field option?
No.
There's a few in the category. We're talking about forward rookies.
Yep.
I think can you back him to kick 3 goals every week?
No.
But he's bench. Yep. Solid bench spot.
Solid bench spot. Well
okay.
Put. Yep.
Melbourne versus Richmond on Friday. Now
let's get into a game that isn't that we have to, that we don't have opening round to fall back on.
Yes, exactly. The other thing that we don't have to fall back on is a full game of data because it got cancelled due to lightning. I think they only played about a half a game. So
I'll tell you what, Dossie. I
got into the third quarter, 5 minutes in the first quarter. Third quarter.
I saw
5
enough.
minutes in. Wow. Okay.
I saw plenty though, Dossie. I saw plenty.
But also we know that the SuperCoach still 3,300 points were still awarded in SuperCoach.
Yeah, so you can kind of extrapolate it out for the full game. But come on now.
Inflated. Caleb Windsor didn't score 121 in 2.5 quarters.
No.
Caleb Windsor looked very, very good though.
Yeah. So it's as if it extrapolates out to a full game of SuperCoach scoring. Caleb Windsor, talk us through because I've sung a bit of his praises. I know our old friend Bear's been big on him for many years. But Caleb Windsor playing as a centre bounce midfielder for a lot of the game that was played.
Yeah.
That first quarter had 10 disposals and was just electric.
The big thing for him was, like, we know he's got really good, run and dash. We know that he was using the ball very well.
Mm-hmm.
That's been his issue previously. He's just turned the ball over far too often. Is when he's finding targets. He was taking those, like, really just smart, composed hits. And he was just getting his hands on the footy.
He's $283,000 available as a defender, clearly in the plans for some midfield minutes this year under the new coach, Stephen King.
Yep. It's a bit of the other way, though. My man.
Oh, Trent
Rivers.
Rivers and Windsor equal high CBAs, 12 apiece in that game.
One thing I'll notice watching, Jack Steele was out on a wing, and I believe that was to get Langford centre bounces. I think Steele will still be the number one man in the midfield there.
I think
But I don't think those other two, I don't think it'll affect them too much.
Cozzy went in there. You saw Cozzy going there at times.
11 CBAs.
11 CBAs.
Jack Steele.
Yeah. Cozzy. Yeah, I think.
11 for Cozzy.
Yeah. I think Langford will be a good Supercoach player, and I know we've had a lot of hype. I think it's just a year away, to be honest. Like, you look at wins. I think it's going to be those four, Steele, Rivers, Windsor. I think Cozzy comes and pinch hits out, and then it's kind of like Langford, the fifth guy.
We keep mentioning who we're going to consider. Like you said, we've only got, that's all the data now that we have to base it off of Melbourne. Which players interest you the most?
Obviously, I brought in Windsor, and I'm very, very tempted to bring in Rivers.
Yeah. Fant?
Neither.
You're not going there?
Well, I don't mind Windsor. I'm just not sure about Trent Rivers in general. Yeah. As you know, I like Harvey Langford, my breakout prediction back here. We did our first show of the pre-season, 11 touches, obviously scaled up given the game, 82 Supercoach points. Had some nice moments, didn't do consistently.
He'll be your third or fourth year guy, right?
Yeah.
Like third or fourth year breakout guy.
No, he'll be elite.
I think he'll take a big bump this year.
Yeah.
Is it enough to pick him? Not sure. Or start him?
No.
Not sure.
Yeah, I think Windsor and Rivers, I'm with Sim. What about Gorney? Just took the P155. Seems to have adjusted to the new ruck rules pretty easily. Could you go Gorney combo again? Have we overreacted?
I think it might just be too expensive. I don't know. I'm not a fan of painful total odds for guys, as you know.
Yep.
We'll get.
In that bracket of sort of, I know Windsor, Rivers defenders, but Kay McAuliffe as well was very good in the first half.
Yeah, but
mid-only in Supercoach.
Did he have any CBAs?
He did have some CBAs. 17 touches, Kay McAuliffe. No CBAs. So.
That's because I saw
this.
I saw this.
He's pushing in.
He's taken Retchko, the spot that we'd all penciled Retchko in for.
Yeah.
I think McAuliffe's taken that.
Yeah, what's that? Obviously coming as well for Richmond injured, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sam
Brill though.
Eel's good. But he's
a rookie lock, isn't he?
Yeah, rookie lock. I reckon.
Scored 57 in the extrapolated score, but he looks. I think you have to have him, whether it's bench or on field, lock him in. Even though the 170K elevated price, he's just class. Yeah. He's just class.
I just Phantom's boy.
How about Margo?
Yeah,
how about Margo?
What about Banksy? How do you go?
Now, we always look in the stats column here. Clangers, 0. Ineffective disposals, 0.
Yeah.
14 touches, 100% efficiency, 95 Supercoach points in just 42% of those 2.5 quarters.
Genius,
3 kick-ins. We'll have to get him back in.
Sammy Lawler's the one, though, that's owned by a stack of coaches. That would be an interesting pod.
No clangers either.
Sammy Banks would be an interesting pod. Yes, we're talking half a game still. Yeah. Plus 5 minutes of the third quarter. Sorry, Phantom. Yeah. Sam Lawler, 82 Supercoach points. He had the midfield role, though. He was in the top attendees at the centre ball up, as we now call it. 15 touches. What do we think, Phantom? I'm so on the edge with this pick because I think he's so underpriced, but it's like we've got a lot of options up forward, especially in the rookie bracket. And it's like, do you pay up for a second year breakout when he's clearly going to have a midfield role this season?
What's his price?
$298.
Like if you're talking Windsor at the other end at 283, and you're talking about Lawler at 290. Like Lawler's pedigree should, in theory,
could he go up and down?
But he's only in his second year.
Is he going to be consistent enough to a full blown second year breakout? Is it going to get hard for him and them in the midfield up against the big dogs?
kind of like what we saw with Harley last year, wasn't it? Where it's like kind of everyone was expecting, he was gunning his first year. He'll just be even better in his second. Now, Lawler, on the other hand, showed signs, but he got injured. He's got so many injury-affected games does that make him much easier to pick? And, at worst, I think he's going to go, 75. So it's well underpriced in that fact. But at worst, what do we need, though, to make it we need a number, fan. What if you're going to start Lawler, what do you need him to average at that price, do you think?
Well, at that price, if he's averaging at worst 75, at best in the 85, and he's making you quick money and you're up to someone that is a definite top 6. So he's going to put up those numbers, then good stepping stone, isn't it?
Might have to bring him back in. Yep. Yeah, he's benefiting
2 or 300s in the first 8 rounds.
Yep.
So let's say by the time upgrade season comes, is he worth 450?
He might be. He's benefiting with no Taj. Stealing all the pill in there. No Taj Houghton, my man.
Move on.
Down and out. Dogs versus Hawks now. I've got the biggest talking point from this game. Woo. Talk to us, Fant. Guy that's not, I repeat, not in Phantom's top 6. Not even the top 6. Rucks for season 2026. That's right, you heard it first on the Lair. It is one and only Tim English, who top scored for the Dogs. 141 Supercoach points. I think we had our most tweets from Fantasy Freako of all time just about Tim English on the weekend. Fant, talk us through.
You tell me. You're the Tim English expert.
Well,
is he in your team?
Are you going to admit you're wrong?
He is. He is in my team.
Where'd I have him in the list?
Well, he wasn't in the top 6. That's all I know. We don't know how far down it went.
He was 6.5.
Freako, I'll just bring up some of Freako's sort of stats to help out here. Now, one thing that we've continually said about these new ruck rules, we're still going to see big scores from our rucks, but the ones that are going to benefit are the ones that are better around the ground, that are able to get those disposals, like we said, Grundy, ones that don't have to, that benefit from not having to wrestle in the contest in the midfield as well and get those hit-outs to advantage, and then be involved in the chains because they're trying to get more clearances straight out of midfield. So who can get involved in those chains immediately?
For reference, I had Grundy, Gawn, Jackson, Sherry, De Koning. Only name 5. Only name 5 on the show.
Now, Freako was pointing out his post-clearance numbers in terms of how involved he was post-clearance. And they were just through the roof for Tenglish in this game. So compared to last season, his post-clearance numbers in this game, way beyond what he was doing last year. So does that mean he's just going to get more involved in it? Does it just mean it's just a practice match and he's up against poor old Lloyd Meek? I don't know.
Could you go English as R1?
We could.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing that, Chief?
Well, I'm going Grundy English. I'm going big in the rucks. Fan, a quick one, just quickly. We won't touch on this for too long, but Buku Khamis got 139, 2 points less than Tenglish. Are we just chalking this up to no Bailey Dale, or is there some value there in the 200K bracket for Buku, who's contract year Buku, isn't it?
Defender forward as well. No, I can't go there.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But I could pull up with a score or two. Lockie Jacks.
Lock.
44 Supercoach points. Another basement price defender who we've heard is in the plans, and we saw it again on the weekend on a massive score, but 16 touches, 5 marks. Did enough to win a spot on the bench.
I think the other big one out of this game, the Bont just ticked over. I think he's a guy we can just ignore, and if you wanted to start him, you can start him. Don't take away anything from his just flat 100 Supercoach points. Joel Frazier, 61 Supercoach points. Now, I know you've been big on him 5 names, but I would have thought you would have hoped for a full centre bounce role from Frazier in there every centre bounce and just at least putting up a solid score, but we didn't see that from Frazier. Scored 61 and it was like
1 for the first quarter CBA, 7 total.
Yeah, this is one you gotta watch opening round and see. And
look at the mix of the other midfielders who did have it. Bont 27, Ed Richards 25, Matt Kennedy 22, Libba 14, and Riley Sands had 4, Frazier had 7. So the big dogs were in there, which is Bevo. Fraser going to get Bevo.
Yeah, it's not looking good, but you gotta just gotta hope.
So he's out. Is he in or out?
I'm keeping him in, but if this is the same in opening round, he's gone.
We're still good. We know he's a good player. Had 20 touches, still kicked a goal. Yes, can you trust it with what it's going to be like in terms of role in that side?
Yeah, we'll move on quickly.
He didn't start the centre bounce, but he played playing off the square. So he was right in there straight away at the stoppage. Was around the ball a lot, not for that restarter play, but he was very quickly in there.
A bit like someone else from Fremantle we'll talk about later, Murphy Reid. Do you think similar sort of role you're talking there? Like
maybe. I think Fraser might get more CBAs, but in terms of what they do when they're half forward, maybe. Yep.
All right, a couple of other rookie names that aren't really being discussed as much as the Jakes option. Artie Jones, a 68, who's available as a mid-forward, basement price rookie. He's been in the system for a few years.
3 snags.
And then Selwood as well. I think, was he a mid-season pickup last year? Michael Selwood?
Yeah, he won't play.
Okay. So you're looking at Artie, though. I see a few people getting around Artie Jones. Could you see him as a slow burn? He's not going to be a high possession winner, but if you're looking for I think the saving grace for him, if you're looking for like a bit of mid-forward flexibility and you want someone like that in your midfield, he could be one to just sit on the bench. I just don't think he's going to, if we get like debuts from like a Sharp and a Blamiers who we'll talk about soon, I just don't think he's probably not going to score as much as all these guys. But he is hopefully some job security. Yeah.
Speaking of goals, though, Sam Butler, who I've been talking about all pre-season again, a lot of forward time, 12 touches, 2 goals, 2, hoping to get a slight uptick of midfield minutes and role given no Day, no Warple. But he was good again as a forward. Can he score enough at 197? Hasn't moved his way back into my team, but again, did what he was good in the role, just whether it's enough for Supercoach, I'm not sure.
Cam McKenzie also concussed, so
yeah,
more midfield time there. And Connor McDonald continues to be one I can't get a read on. Is he going to an option or what? I don't know.
13 centre bounces for Connor McDonald. Now, Sam Mitchell again on radio pre-game, saying everyone talking to him about what he said, and the reference being called a troll, trolling Supercoaches by saying he followed up with Connor McDonald will play in the midfield again tonight, and he did.
Start in the centre bounce, is what he said, yeah.
Surprised that Sam Mitchell hasn't been put in the fry pan.
So John Newcomb's not going to play either?
No. Oh, well, Hawthorn are going to appeal it.
At the moment, time recording's not playing.
Yeah. That'll be interesting, won't it? I think we just look at this reminds me of just Hawthorn last season. Like, I don't think they had one player averaging over 100, did they? Or it might have been one. Like, this is Jai Newcomb, 132, amazing game. He can do this at times, though. Next best scorer in this game was Scrimshaw at 87. Now, I know with extra players on the bench as well, the scores need to be distributed a bit differently, but I just feel like Hawthorn is that. Hawthorn is game plan over scoring and over possession, and I just don't, like, if I've got, again, a pick between a couple of these guys, I'm just not going Hawthorn. Like, as much as I think they're a good team, I just don't know if they're a good team for Supercoach, like, scoring.
Yep, fair.
That's where I lay with these guys. Is there anyone else you want to talk about, though, on the...
No, but in the next game, St Kilda and Essendon. Now.
What a game for Supercoach.
The biggest question of the preseason, of the show, the man, Simeon Kingsley Thomas Wilson, is he still fading? Nazaya, Wanganeen, Miller, 28 touches, 4 goals, 142 Supercoach points, literally playing a different game.
You might be fading the GOAT. You're fading the GOAT.
Could be literally the GOAT.
If I wasn't in the middle here, I'd get up and walk out.
Are you fading him?
Yes, still am.
No, I like a man who sticks to his gun.
I'm sticking my guns here.
The chief would jump off.
And because I know there's been a lot of stuff. Because I also did say now I'm getting nervous here. No,
he's nervous.
I also did say that he's going to be the top scorer this year, and everyone was like, having you think 2 ways. They both can be right.
Yep.
I can fade him, and I'm just going to be praying every day in the first maybe 4 rounds that he has a bad game, bad game.
So you want to use your money elsewhere, hopefully getting a little bit cheaper.
Yes, pretty much.
I have a rule in Supercoach. and it's something I've employed the last couple of years. And actually, I've gone against it a couple of times too. But if you're scared of a player, just pick them. If you are scared someone's going to burn your season, pick that player.
No,
because they're probably as good as you think they are.
Now stick to your guns.
I'm sticking to my guns.
I don't know.
Naz was great. I was like, this is so good to watch. It's just, and I actually am like, from a footy perspective, the midfielder going forward and being something other Joel Stewart. We'll talk about what Essendon did. I think that's pretty good. But does that mean like he kicked 4, but like, is it surely if you're just another, another team, like, you just put your best defender on him when he goes forward, and then you tag him when he's in the midfield, and then you just make sure you do whatever you can to stop him from influencing the game.
Well, you can try.
Untaggable, Bont level almost.
Yep.
Let's have a look. Let's see how it plays out. Good luck with that 5 names. Yes, again, he's up against Essendon, though. It wasn't it was a pretty free-flowing game, obviously, and he was just having fun out there too.
Now, I'm jumping in because you guys bagged me on the Tim English call, top 5. You also bagged me on Mateus Filippo being a top 6 forward in Supercoach. A lot of the Supercoach community doubted the call as well, but again, after that practice match, had 27 or whatever he had, another 29 touches, game high 16 contested possessions as well, 8 clearances, passed the eye test, and the numbers a little bit shaky with ball in hand, 6 clangers, 65% by a foot, but the role is there and top 6 is definitely on. Not that anyone wasn't going to pick him or you wouldn't have thought the price, but just my own.
Top 6.
Top 6 for. Yep, still
Also, actually,
gone.
It's
Not that anyone's going to. We're all going to pick him anyway. Yep. Anyway.
Another person you want to talk.
Right.
What about? I mean, just let's give Dossie. Dossie had a bit of a rough time in Melbourne, so I'm going to give him this. Sam Flanders, Dossie.
Yep. Scored a 95, but that was unders for
95. Is that what Bailey Smith averaged last year? 95.
Well, he was taking an easy preseason game. How much time on ground?
He was trying pretty hard, I reckon.
Didn't even look at the. He's just.
5 contested.
I actually messaged our friend Warn Dog over at AFL Fantasy. I said their big trademark over there, the pig, is their saying. I messaged, got in the DMs. I said, Flanders is your next pig. It's going to happen over there on AFL Fantasy. Over here, he's just a naughty man. He's a very naughty man of land.
TDK, what do you make of him?
Scored well.
Yep.
I think it was 113 Supercoach points for TDK. Clearly the number 1 ruck as Rowan Marshall played that forward ruck role. It was against an opposition that we don't know what sort of opposition this guy's going to be for opposing rucks this year. So it'll be interesting to see, and we get to see him in opening round. TDK I've obviously been a big fan of. I don't have him in my plans right now due to that split, because the split was still, it wasn't that he was like the dominant number 1 ruck. It was quite a heavy split with Romar still. Enough of the ruck contest was split with him that I'm like, I don't know.
Another Saints player to bring up. Well, Saints are quite relevant now. Marcus Windhager is playing that half back row. Obviously, like Jack Sinclair absolutely, racked it up as well. But we just know what he is. That's the thing.
Yep.
Windhager's role's now pretty interesting, I'll say. Like he, just racked up a fair bit of the ball.
Yeah.
Just
41 touches.
Yeah.
How about this though? They said 3 kick-ins and 8 CBAs.
For Windhager.
Yep.
133 Supercoach points for him, only behind Naz. And you know what? Give this one to Al Payton. Said his breakout candidate on our show earlier in this year. I think it was one of his 3 breakout candidates, and I was like, Windhager at the time.
Jeez, I was about to claim him then, but
jumped off the page from Al, and so 1 to watch, but with mid-only status. He is the most awkward possible price of all time, and
that is.
I don't think we can consider him.
Could he be an early? Just
classic.
say if he keeps this halfback role, and he's absolutely he's racking it up. Could he be an early upgrade?
Opening round, we get to see it, don't we? If he goes 130, I think he'll be quite highly owned, and we can pivot from another player. So just put him on your opening round watch list, I suppose. And Jack Sinclair 125 is another guy that I'm like, can I squeeze this guy in?
Yeah.
Without Naz back there taking the pill, the only guy who's got back there now is Windhager.
Naz did go back at one point and just then put the kick in, and it was 60-meter bullet to someone. I was just sitting there really, started sweating.
On the other side of the page, though, Essendon, one guy for me, now his score wasn't, I wouldn't say jumps off the page like many others, but Lockie Blackiston getting a 78 Supercoach point game to the eye. Like he took it to TDK
jump.
and Romar.
Can jump.
The new rules just are massive for him. 78 Supercoach points is plenty for me to start really seriously considering. I think he had 4 frees against.
Yeah.
Like he was just kind of getting used to some of the rules around the ground. I don't know. He's like in for me at the moment.
And we know, like we've said this on the last show, he was drafted as a ruckman on the waffle.
Mm-hmm.
In at flex for me as well.
Yeah, he's in.
Yeah, he's very close to coming.
He's one where the role just, that's one where it's like, yep, scored 78. That's okay.
Yeah.
Like his price is enough for that anyway. But the role, he's their ruck. He's their number one ruck and he's available as a defender for us.
Speaking of clangers, 9 of them to Archie Roberts. Still in?
Still in for me.
97 with how many?
18 CBAs.
97 with 9
Yeah,
clangers.
that's no one you have the role. I didn't actually realize he had that many clangers, but he still looks good. Like Essendon was kind of, they were weird, weren't they? Because they had like Zach Merritt playing as like out of the square a bit, like. But Roberts' role looked good, so and he's surely not going to have 9 clangers every week. He's pretty good by forward.
What about Darcy Parish?
Yeah.
Darcy, I know you had him in 21 touches, 76 Supercoach points, only 2 clangers, really, but also just kicked to no one as well. 47 of his disposals were effective.
Yep.
Obviously, only 2 clangers shows he didn't always turn it over directly. Sometimes it was just deemed ineffective, didn't go to his teammate.
I'm having a lot of trouble with Parish. I can't get a read on it because, everything that we've heard out of Essendon's amazing, and he's one that you could assume he's a veteran of the game. Does he need to take this 100%? What we saw, Phantom, was the role. Still was their number one centre bounce guy, their number one clearance guy, had the role, did his job in there, is going to be in the centre bounce mix as a heavy, heavy usage person in the midfield. I think for me at the price, he's just so cheap that I'm like, I'm going to take the, not really even a risk at that price for Parish and his history. I think I momentarily took him out and then I put him back in. But he had a super slow start to the game as well. He didn't really get going for ages.
Well, their CBA mix, 21 to Parish, 20 to Sam Durham, 19 to Caldwell, 16 for Robert. Zach Merritt, just the 10 with 2 kick-ins.
Interesting mix. One last player, the top scorer for them, guy that I've picked up in all my keeper leagues. But Zach Johnson, is he a guy? He's 270K. We're not really talking about him. We're talking about everyone else. 270K, tonned up, was the Don's leading scorer in that game and is a defender. He's only,
Smart
19?
Smart, yep.
Yeah.
The youngest player picked in 2 years ago in the draft.
A magnet as well at VFL
Gets in
level.
good spots as well, just because he's a smart player.
Is he going under the radar?
Yeah.
273, he's just awkward.
Yeah.
Good price.
Well, it's like the Windsor price, isn't it? Dyson Sharp should play round 1.
Yep, Darcy keeps on doubting him, but
Let's
as advertised, as you said.
Let's get through the last few games here. Fremantle versus the Crom.
Yep.
Mighty Crows. Let's start with
The lock side.
Start with Phantom.
Lockie McAndrew. R2. Has been in there for a couple of weeks, ever since 5 names told me he was going to play over Rob. And we saw he could actually play in the practice match and the internal trial, which was pretty good. Started off slow, 10 touches, 8 contested possessions.
He was setting a bath early on. He fought back pretty well. I'll give him that. Yeah.
91 Supercoach points.
Yeah.
He's not going to average 110 as a ruckman.
No.
But R2, 80, average 80, 85?
Yeah. Possibly.
For
Doesn't matter. It doesn't even need to go. Doesn't even need to go that.
Hope that Blackiston wait for Blackiston to get a DPP. Like your cash.
I'm still on the. I just want it to be known. I'm still on the McAndrew at flex train.
I think on the fence, does he?
I'm off the fence. I'm saying McAndrew at flex. I'm not going him at R2. I just want a way out.
Right.
I want a way out. I don't want to waste 2 or 3 trades trying to fix it if it goes wrong.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
other things from that. I actually watched that game pretty closely because I was working with it. From a Crows perspective, we get a Frere because there was one guy in particular from Frere who was very good. Joshua Shelley played a lot of midfield. A lot of. If you've got him in, I've got him in. I know he wasn't like too contested, but he had a lot of CBAs.
18 CBAs, the most for the Crows. 5 names. This guy we've touched on as well in the rookie Bible. 17 for the Crows. Second most player used at centre bounces. Charlie Edwards.
Yeah, not playing. He'll win. He'll be unlucky to make round one. Like Crows are missing. They have 6 players back for round one. 2 of them are midfielders, maybe 3. It's going to be harsh on him, but I just don't think he's going to play. I don't think Branchwood's going to play.
But can he play like a, we know we've seen him at halfback in the sample when he was drafted. Can he play a sort of bench rotation use in a role back there?
Yeah, maybe. Like he might be in the mids. I just reckon, I just think he's just going to be a little bit like, I think he'll play at some point this year. I just don't know if it's round one. I think Toby Murray's very much in the mix for round one.
Oh no. Breaking news.
Just Sim. That was for Sim. It was a bit delayed, but he's just dropping.
But yeah, I think Toby Murray's playing his way into a round one. I think, there's going to be the thing of whether they are going too tall. If you have, Thilthorpe, Fogarty, Tex, Toby Murray along with McAndrew. But, I mean, Thilthorpe generally could play some midfield time this year.
Yep. Just a quick one, though. Someone you said he broke the news, I think it was last week. Poor old Chase Jones.
Oh, yeah, they didn't have.
Still no good?
He didn't have it. Yeah, he didn't do a lot.
100% disposal efficiency.
5 touches.
Had 3. Had 3 kicks, 2 handballs.
Yeah, he didn't do a lot at all, but I think he's still going to hold his spot, I reckon. They'll just say, like, the work over pre-season, but he'll play. I just don't think he's going to score that highly.
Someone who may score highly, Phantom Murphy Reid. Now, won't just yet get out the goat sting again, but whoo-wee.
Close.
Well,
I mean, there's being 2 steps ahead of the game, like 5 names in here, the local on the beat. Then there's Murphy Reid. Now, smartest player on the field in that game, Saturday night, and could very well soon be one of the smartest players in the competition, I think. We spoke about him last year. We saw him bob up in his debut season, slipped to the Dockers in the draft. Lacks a bit of athleticism, a bit of leg speed, but when you're thinking like he does, doesn't matter.
So the leg speed looked like it was actually climbing quickly.
Now, did feature in a couple of CBAs too. 7
CBAs
for the game.
Yeah.
No,
30 touches.
He was very good.
So,
on the other hand,
wait, can we just
102 SuperCoach points?
He's a hard one though because 370k.
He's a
rising star last year. Did enough.
Price.
So what? Reid or Shelley?
Yeah, I've got Rochelle. I've had Rochelle. I don't know. I'm just maybe backing that in.
Yeah, well, I would love to pick Murphy Reid. The Chief made some good points before though. 370k. What is the average? Can he average enough to make the selection worth it at that price? It's a big question.
Yeah, provide all the nuggets off the show. I need to bring him to the table.
Why aren't you like him as well? Yep. Why wouldn't you pick him? Someone out there considering?
Oh, I was looking and I was like, gee, I immediately adjusted him into my squad. Yep. And then I just look at the price and, as you said, the role potential. Like I feel like his centre bounces are going to switch week to week. I think Longmuir is an underrated Bevo. He's playing Luke Jackson as a midfielder. Bevo. Like he's Timu Bevo.
I'll tell you what one that play
like he is though. He just plays funny buggers.
Regardless, one play you should absolutely lock into your side is Hayden Young.
Yeah. 116 SuperCoach points.
Lock him in.
Yeah. Played sort of mid, and then when he wasn't, he was rolling forward, and he's a damaging forward.
Yeah, he's one of those ones that can go for take him out, be damaging.
There was a worry about him playing forward, but I'm not worried about that.
Bray was really disappointing. Brayshaw, but you barely really noticed him.
69 SuperCoach points. I mean, there's a lot of mouths to feed there, but I think he'll be fine this season.
It's all right. I think it was one of those ones. Maybe they were just like, we'll just.
Maybe somebody might have to be sacrificed for they're changing their midfield mix. It'll be interesting to see. But the one that I alluded to him before, Luke Jackson, 76 SuperCoach points, but more importantly, Mason Cox was the number 1 ruck.
And we saw Luke Jackson, the midfielder.
Yeah.
At times.
But Luke Jackson, the midfielder, is a 76, maybe an 80, 85, 90. What do we think? I don't know. As a ruck, he's a bona fide. He's a bona fide.
He might stand there for a while.
Honestly. I just don't get it. But the thing is, I think after the game, they had an interview with one of the players.
Tracy.
It might have been, Tracy, the captain.
Tracy.
The
Tracy.
captain for the day. He was captaining the Dockers for the day. And it was like, what's the plan with Jackson? It's like, oh, well, that's our little thing. That's our trick card. That's a wild card for other teams, not knowing what role he's going to play every game. Well, it's also a wild card for us super coaches. We don't know what the hell he's going to play.
That's probably enough there.
It's enough for me to say no. And I'm the biggest, you guys know, I'm the biggest Luke Jackson.
Enough.
Like, I think the guy could be the best player in Supercoach if he just plays ruck, his natural position. So anyway, he, unfortunately for me, I don't know if this was just practice match funny buggers, but I can't trust Timu Bevo. So,
all right, next game.
North Collingwood. Here? Well, we're going Blamiers.
Forget Collingwood for a while. That was just they were playing no one.
Let's just go Blamiers.
Yep.
99K rookie.
God, he looked good. He had some hardness about him as well.
24 touches, 87 Supercoach points. We know just made it onto the list in the past week from the VFL. 99K.
I think they've got a couple of guys out, so it's a big watch on. It's McKercher. Who
surely done enough after
I
that.
think,
Who else is out for them? It's McKercher.
Yeah, the McKercher one was the big one.
Luke McDonald as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. And if they're playing, who's the other?
Hardiman.
Defender? Yeah, Hardiman.
He's injured as well. I think probably stays in now.
I think, I really hope he does, because I really like the look of him. I thought he was great. I thought he did some really nice stuff, especially when North weren't going so well in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some North fans being like, well, take out Caleb Daniel before you take out. Yeah, man. Yeah. My new man, Blamiers.
I'll tell you the other one. Speaking of my man, I might have said it before. Oh, Doveston.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He could.
3 goals, 1.
He is going to be a fun little player to watch.
Yeah.
Yep. 14
Actually
touches.
reminds me of a guy on the opposition in this game. Like Lockie Schultz. It's like Lockie Schultz kind of vibes. Like just that small kind of, he's got a big head. that small forward. That small forward that, I really liked him too. And what did he score? He scored in the 90s.
Yeah, 99.
99.
14 touches. 6 tackles.
Yeah, I think if he can get those 6 tackles, he's still have. I think he's
great small forwards game.
Yeah, just good for your bench.
One other name, and I mentioned off the top of the show, he was one that impressed last year, then didn't come to fruition, but Foss, Finn O'Sullivan. Now, Foss was into the centre bounce mix, and Luke Parker was playing off a halfback, so they kind of mixed it up there. But Foss, any interest? He's
20 CBAs.
He is in the same mould as you're either going, I think it's pretty much choosing between Windsor or Foss.
Interesting.
I do like Foss. We've spoken about Foss for the last 12 months. He's going to be a great player.
Yeah. I want to bring up someone else. And Dossie, get my sting ready. Get the you need those 5 names. No, you do that as well. I'm pretty sure it's guys unique because it all is. Spoken about before. I'll tell you what, I'm getting tempted by LDU. I am getting tempted by LDU. This could be the LDU breakout.
Oh, jeez. He does this every preseason, doesn't he? 34 touches, 11 contested possessions, 120 Supercoach points.
He's only 526,000.
8 clearances.
He is he's underpriced. He's got a game that in theory is perfect for Supercoach. Yes, sometimes the delivery by foot isn't great, but I think, and that's a shout out to a friend of the show, the GOAT, Selby's Dwight, where he says,
where is magic?
Yep. LDU has always gotten, he's always been the one that opposition teams go after, try and stop. Like, Sheasel in there. You're not trying to stop LDU. You're not trying to stop Sheasel. LDU could run free. This and his fixture is as good as it's going to get.
Every team is better than North. So.
Maybe not
West Coast.
Yeah. When he plays West Coast, they got West Coast around too. I'm generally tempted, and I feel weird about it, but I could,
He's underpriced regardless.
He's underpriced regardless.
How big can he go? But I love it.
What's his ownership numbers, fans? Please tell me. Yeah.
I've been a bit iffy about old 5 names, unique names lately, but don't mind that one.
Hang on.
What about Sherry? Are we still on the fade Sherry wagon?
Yes, 5 names and I stand our ground.
No, I'm leading the charge with that as well. I said, I was on the fence
in the chat, and 5 names said about Naz. We're not fading him because we think they're going to suddenly average 30 points less than they're priced at or average 90.
No.
We just think there's more value elsewhere with our money. And Sherry might drop 5-10 points, and he comes down.
Yeah.
While they adjust early on to the new ruck rules.
Yep.
Which again, there's nothing. He was pretty good again.
He scored an 80. I know we're not relying just on scores. He scored an 84. I think last preseason match, he scored 140, which is what I was like alluding to. Some of the scores were like, take everything with a grain of salt. Sherry, I think we're a united front on the fade Sherry at the moment. And it could bite us. We know that. We're 100%. If you back in Sherry, then please do it.
But yeah, LDU 3% owned. I am. This is going to be. I'm going to be thinking about this a lot over the next week. It's like when I do say I've been, when I have said I wouldn't start with the top, however priced guys in defense, mids, rut. Tell you what, you have to be starting with Sheezel though, even though he's top price. Yeah, he is just good. He's just going to be good.
On McKercher, we mentioned him. Can we go in without having seen him this preseason at all?
Yep.
Fine to just jump in. It's only a hand injury, so you'd imagine fine otherwise.
Yep, I think so.
Yep.
Also
checking.
Now, final game of the round. The old
do we want to mention any pies just really quickly?
No, we don't.
Josh Dacos.
No. Actually, no. I want to mention one. I think Dan Houston is just one to watch.
Okay.
I
think he might be getting a little bit closer back to what we know.
McRae said they want the ball in his hands. I think it was in a pre-game interview.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have the source for that one, but yeah, it was like I saw somewhere that it was basically Houston. They want the ball in his hands.
Yep.
Okay.
The mighty Eagles, hey?
Yep.
When your second best player behind Harley Reid is Devon Robertson, you're in trouble. But he was good for super coaches. 28 touches, 94 super coach points, 15 contested possessions. Slow start for him.
For who? It's
Devon Robertson.
Devon Robertson. It's still locked on the field.
Yep.
Yeah, lock him in. Harley, we asked you this before, Dossie, because I've still got Harley Reid in my team. What are your thoughts?
I think with Harley, it's just the role. He was the leading centre bounce guy in there alongside, you just mentioned, Dev Rob. We're just looking at role for Harley, aren't we? Because he's priced at 70.
Yep.
We want him to, I think he's, I don't know.
25 CBAs, like you said.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's just role. Yep.
Yeah, fair enough. Speaking of role, Tom McCarthy.
Inside mid.
Yep.
Was looking like he was going to drop a 120 in this game. And then obviously West Coast just got completely blown out and his score just plummeted alongside it and didn't get involved as much later in the game. It was amazing earlier.
Game high 9 clearances.
Yeah. So he's going to be awesome. He's going to play midfield. But again, 500K is definitely value for him. It's just it just depends. If West Coast are going to be as bad as they were in this game, then we probably don't start any of them, apart from the rookies.
Josh Lindsay, speaking of rookies, 22 touches as well, 64 Supercoach points.
Yeah.
Kicked a snag, looked good. We know his kicking is good.
One of the best kicks in board as well. I think he set up Willem Dersma, who then shanked it, unfortunately. But he's kicking so good.
So maybe he's one with him as well coming through, makes the Zeke equation hard, especially if Zeke can't deliver in opening round. Does Lindsay coming onto the field? Then you've got Sarong and Jakes on the bench. Lindsay comes in with a grill, or Farrow didn't do a heap either. Maybe.
Speaking of Durs.
Oh God.
I'm still all in. He was pretty cool. Pretty cool for me. Pretty cool.
Cool. He's not. No. I'm not all in.
Good player, but not in Supercoach.
No,
he's fine. He played wing, and then he got some centre bounces, and he butchered the ball. They said on the commentary, David King was saying he's going to burn these boots after the game. Though he was a butcher.
Yep.
All right. Cool. All right.
But he's not going to do that every week.
What
about Duff Tyler?
I'm not talking about this game anymore.
It's upside down, you know.
Upside down, but free Will Brodie's up again.
All right. Now, do you want to get into? Let's get into it then. All right.
Butters lock, Rosie lock.
Butters Rosie lock. Like, you start him.
Car out.
They scored 176 Butters and 160 odd.
So I reckon, Will Brodie in Adelaide on the weekend. He's in the Sandford team. Instead, Jack Watkins, 99K mature age rookie, as we love. Zach Brothers, his best friend as well. Came in and played pretty well, actually. Had 20 disposals, I think, 6 clearances.
13 contested.
Fair few CBAs as well. Will
Brodie would have had 25 contested possessions against West Coast if he played.
I I think this was.
Get him in.
This was as close. This was like Port Adelaide were treating this like this is round one. We're doing what we're doing in round one. Yeah.
Just hiding their secret weapon.
Jack Watkins is ahead of Will Brodie in the team. Sorry, Phantom.
So you think Watkins is that? Hang on. So you think Watkins is a?
He's a strong chance.
99K.
He's a very strong
mid.
chance.
So we've got Blamiers and Watkins coming in.
And Dirksen.
And
99K.
Dirksen. The other one is pretty interesting. Todd Marshall had a pretty decent game. I mean, I think it was probably quite an easy game to be a defender.
Game
Todd
high 10
Marshall
marks,
scored 85 Supercoach points.
When you got Willem Dersma kicking.
Straight to it.
Give us a spell.
I've had enough.
I'm all in.
Wrap it up.
On the weeks. Still. Your premiers don't cruise. They're just cruising the preseason.
Yeah. I don't think there's anyone else that was.
I mentioned Duff Tytler quickly, and I think Schonberg for me, who's been a name, he just didn't look that good.
Yeah, no.
Got run down a couple of times.
Yeah.
Duff Tytler scored a 39. I think it's going to be really hard for him to make cash, but he's in a lot of teams, Duff.
Yeah. I was trying to think any Port names. Ram, he's playing. I reckon Ewan McKinley played a game last year. He's well and truly in the mix for it. And majority of old Chiefy something. Looks like Jackson Mead's actually playing for them.
Thank you. Playing defence. Draft option only.
Yeah, the other one to watch out for is Jace Burgoyne's playing a lot more defence for them, which is what you want to see.
Right.
I'm off Port.
All right, well, that was the final game
of
the round. We did a full wrap. It's a long episode.
We did do a full wrap.
The long episode, that one. We hope you got some value out of that. And if you did, subscribe on Coach Sports YouTube channel. Hit us up on Spotify and Apple. Free Will Brodie. And
I was right.
Footy's here, opening round.
Join the Lair League. Join in the fun. 1, 2, 8, 5, 3, 2.
We're happy in the Lair.
We're happy.
Big show. Pick your team. Hit us up in the comments and social as well. We'll take more questions in the next show after we've seen opening round at the Phantom SC. Didn't do it today, but big Q&A time next week as that'll be it.
Yeah.
Finalising our teams for round
we got
one.
a lot of content coming next week, so stick with us.
It's free Will Brodie.